Section 9 of the Income Tax Act, income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Now this section is very important and a lengthy section. I have covered it in 2 PowerPoint presentations. I have covered all the important concepts and tried to simplify them with the help of examples. So let us begin. For understanding section 9, we have to check 2 important sections: scope of total income discussed in section 5 of the Income Tax Act and residential status of a person discussed in section 6 of the Income Tax Act. Reading both these sections helps us to know whether the income earned in India or outside India is taxable depending upon the residential status of a person. Section 9 further widens the scope of income taxable in India. It is mainly for non-residents, as in the case of residents, global income is taxable. Section 9(1). The following incomes shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India. 1. All income accruing or arising whether directly or indirectly through or from any business connection in India, which is taxable under the head profit and gains of business or profession, or any property in India which is taxable under the head income from house property, or any asset or source of income in India which is taxable under the head income from other sources, or through the transfer of a capital asset situated in India which is taxable under the head capital gains. 2. Income which falls under the head salaries if it is earned in India. 3. Income chargeable under the head salaries payable by the government to the citizen of India for service outside India. 4. A dividend paid by the Indian company outside India. 5, 6 and 7. Income by way of interest, royalty, fees for technical services payable by the government or a resident or a non-resident. 8. Gift paid on or after 5th day of July 2019 by a person resident in India to a non-resident not being a company or to a foreign company. Section 9(1)(1). All income accruing or arising whether directly or indirectly through or from any business connection in India. Now business connection, there are 2 aspects: significant economic presence, in which case income is deemed to accrue or arise in India if aggregate payments exceed rupees 2 crores. This 2 crores is mentioned in explanation 2A. Or all operations are not carried out in India, that is no significant economic presence in India. In such a case, only income reasonably attributable to Indian operations is deemed to accrue or arise in India. For example, Cosmos Limited is a US based MNC and has a diversified business of manufacturing personal care products, that is moisturizers, perfumes, deos, lipsticks, fingernail polishes, hair colors, etc. in different countries of the world. It manufactures perfumes and deodorants in India. So Indian operations of Cosmos Limited, it manufactures perfumes and deodorants. So in such a case, income attributable to Cosmos Limited which pertains to the sale of perfumes and deodorants is deemed to accrue or arise in India. Now significant economic presence is explained in explanation 2A and it was inserted with effect from 1st of April 2022. For removal of doubts, it is hereby declared that significant economic presence of a non-resident in India shall constitute business connection in India, and significant economic presence for this purpose shall mean transaction in respect of any goods, services or property carried out by a non-resident with any person in India, including provision of download of data or software in India, if the aggregate of the payments arising from such transaction or transactions during the previous year exceeds rupees 2 crores, or systematic and continuous soliciting of business activities or engaging in interaction with 3 lakh users in India, provided that the transactions or activities shall constitute significant economic presence in India, whether or not the agreement for such transactions or activities is entered in India or not, the non-resident has a residence or a place of business in India, or the non-resident renders services in India. Provided further that only so much of the income as is attributable to the transactions or activities referred to in clause A or clause B shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India. So here they have given the transactions which exceed 2 crores will be taxable, and they are also saying that if there is a systematic and continuous soliciting of business activities with 3 lakh users in India, then it will be deemed to be income which accrues or arises in India. Here they have also mentioned that the agreement may be executed in India or abroad. The non-residents may have a residence in India or it may be outside India, and a non-resident may render services in India or outside India. It doesn't matter. Significant economic presence will be determined on the basis of A and B above. In case of a non-resident, no income shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India to him through or from operations which are confined to the purchase of goods in India for the purpose of export. For example, Mr. A non-resident residing in Canada, has a business of apparel products, that is t-shirts, shirts, sweaters, jackets, trousers, jeans, etc. He purchases cotton shirts and t-shirts from India for exporting it to other countries. Then income from sale of shirts purchased from India will not be deemed to accrue or arise in India. This is mainly done for increasing India's exports. Now the point to be noted here is they are mentioning about purchase of goods for export. They are not saying purchase of raw material, then manufacturing it in abroad and selling it. So they are mentioned as purchase of goods. You purchase it from India and directly export it without any further manufacturing. In case of a non-resident being a person engaged in the business of running a news agency or of publishing newspapers, magazines or journals, no income shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India to him through or from activities which are confined to collection of news and views in India for transmission out of India. For example, CNN International, a US-based non-resident media company, collects news and views in India for transmission out of India. The income which is earned by CNN International from this activity will not be deemed to accrue or arise in India. In case of a non-resident being an individual who is not a citizen of India, or a firm which does not have any partner who is a citizen of India or who is a resident of India, or a company which does not have any shareholder who is a citizen of India or who is a resident in India, no income shall be deemed to accrue or arise to such an individual, firm or company through or from operations which are confined to shooting of any cinematograph film in India. For example, Warner Brothers is a US-based non-resident film company which does not have any shareholder who is a citizen of India or who is a resident of India. In such a case, it comes to India to make a documentary film on India's progress in field of commerce and trade. then in such a case income from such a documentary is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. In case of a foreign company engaged in the business of mining of diamonds, no income shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India to it through or from the activities which are confined to display of uncut or unassorted diamonds in any special zone notified by the central government in the official gazette in this behalf. So the activities should be done in a special zone which is notified by the government, central government. Only then there will not be any income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India. Explanation 2 for that section. For the removal of doubts, it is hereby declared that business connection shall include any business activity carried out through a person who, acting on behalf of a non-resident, has and habitually exercises in India an authority to conclude contracts on behalf of a non-resident, or habitually concludes contracts or habitually plays the principal role leading to conclusion of contracts by that non-resident, and the contracts are in the name of the non-resident, or for the transfer of the ownership of, or for the granting of the right to use property owned by the non-resident, or that non-resident has the right to use, or for the provision of services by the non-resident, or B point, has no authority but habitually maintains in India a stock of goods or merchandise from which he regularly delivers goods or merchandise on behalf of the non-resident, or habitually secures orders in India mainly or wholly for a non-resident, or for that non-resident and other non-residents controlled by or subject to the same common control as that of non-resident. Now this entire section can be paragraph can be understood by the help of an example. For example, Mr. A is a non-resident having a company Sony Limited, incorporated in Japan, and is in the business of manufacturing electronic goods. He has a person, Mr. B, in India who procures contracts on behalf of Sony Limited for sale of electronic goods like TV, fridge, air conditioners, washing machine, etc. Mr. B also has a godown in India where he stocks the electronic items received from Mr. A before delivery. Now Mr. A has given authority to Mr. B to sell electronic goods and procure purchase orders on behalf of Mr. A. In such a case, income earned by Mr. A from sale of goods in India is deemed to be income accrued or arisen in India, even though the sale consideration is received by Mr. A in Japan. Here, one more point to be noted is, any income received from any holding company or any subsidiary company of Sony Limited who sell their products through Mr. B will also be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Provided that such business connection shall not include any business activity carried out through a broker, general commission agent, or any other agent having independent status, if such broker, general commission agent, or any other agent having an independent status is acting in the ordinary course of business. For example, Mr. Z is an agent in India who sells electronic items on behalf of various non-residents and not particular non-resident Mr. A. Then it will not be included in the business connection stated previous slide, as he is an independent agent and charges commission from various persons and is not acting solely on behalf of Mr. A. Explanation 5, 6, 7 to section 911. Explanation 5, 6, 7 were inserted in Finance Act 2012 to bring in tax ambit the gains arising on transfer of shares or interest in a foreign company which derives major gains or major revenue from its Indian subsidiary or assets located in India. These explanations can be better explained by way of example. You can pause the video here and read the explanation given here. Let us proceed to the example given on the next slide for better understanding of the explanations 5, 6 and 7. For example, H Limited is a UK based company. It holds 100% stake in S Limited, which is a Singapore based company, which in turn holds 70% stake, which is more than 50% stake required as per explanation given in the above slide. In IN Limited, which is an India based company, which has the value of assets of rupees 100 crores. Now, since S Limited holds 70% stake in IN Limited, that is rupees 70 crores will be the stake of S Limited in IN Limited, which is more than rupees 10 crores which is required as per the explanation in the above slide. There is one more company called G Limited, which is in Germany. Now, G Limited purchases S Limited, which is a 100% subsidiary of H Limited, and pays rupees 200 crores as consideration. Here, share of S Limited in IN Limited is deemed to accrue or arise in India as the value of the assets exceed rupees 10 crores and represents at least 50% of the value of all assets owned by S Limited in India. Section 9.1.2 Income which falls under the head salaries if it is earned in India. Explanation: for removal of doubts, it is hereby declared that the income of the nature referred to in this clause payable for services rendered in India and the rest period or leave period which is preceded and succeeded by services rendered in India and forms part of the service contract of employment shall be regarded as income earned in India. For example, Mr. A is a non-resident in a Netherlands-based company, Strong Ships Limited, which are manufacturers and consultants of very large crude carrier ships. He comes on deputation to India on 31st October 2022 for a period of 3 months. He starts his work on 15th of November 2022 for a period of 2 months, that is from 15th of November 2022 to 15th of January 2023. 2 months he works in India and he leaves India after 3 months, that is on 31st of Jan 2023. His company pays him a salary of euro 10,000 per month. In this case, the entire salary of euro 30,000 paid for 3 months is deemed to be income accrued or arise in India, even if the salary is received in Netherlands and actual period worked in India is only 2 months. So Mr. A cannot say that since I have worked for only 2 months, euro 20,000 will be my income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India. No, since he has stayed here for 3 months, that means the entire salary of 30,000 will be deemed to accrue or arise to him in India. Section 9.1.3 Income chargeable under the head salaries payable by the government to a citizen of India for services outside India. For example, salary paid to foreign diplomats or higher commissioners for services rendered outside India is deemed to accrue or arise in India. Section 9.1.4 a dividend paid by the Indian company outside India. For example, dividend paid by Reliance Industries Limited to a non-resident outside India is deemed to accrue or arise in India. Section 915 to section 918 will be discussed in the next presentation. Thank you.